Have you ever wished your puppy spoke the same language as you? Well, puppy training can be hard because you don't speak canine and your dog doesn't speak your language. And yet, here we are trying to teach her how to live in your human world. No wonder you're looking for a little guidance from a professional. I'm here to help. Let's jump into some awesome explanations of some things that you might have seen in your puppy. It's really important to understand the basic body language of a dog if you're going to live with one. Your dog is communicating with you all the time. But are you listening? One of the most common and obvious ways of figuring out how your dog is feeling is the tail. However, it probably doesn't always mean what you think it does. Pop quiz. Does a tail wag mean A, happy and excited to see you, B, trying to be dominant, C, relaxed? Post your answers in the comments below. Well, the answer could be A or C, but it's definitely not B. That's actually a whole myth when it comes to domesticated dogs and training, so just erase that alpha concept from your brain. When we're trying to understand the tail wag, we actually have to pay close attention to the position. A dog whose tail is straight up and wagging really fast is an overstimulated or over-aroused dog. This is not the time to greet people or other dogs. It means the dog is over threshold and is not able to learn anything new or make any positive associations. If you see that rigid, fast-moving tail, step further away from the trigger until your dog can be more relaxed and have calmer body language. One of our students, Jackie, she's working with her dog Cooper when he sees other dogs from the back patio. When she asked for our help to understand his body language, we pointed out that his tail was straight up and wagging really fast. This means that he was overstimulated by the sight of the other dogs. And it's time to get some more distance between them and bring him inside. Now you can see he's barking, which is another clear signal that he's overstimulated. Even if he wasn't barking, the tail tells us this is not a good activity for him. What we're looking for in a tail wag is the tail to be at a mid-level and relaxed. We want a slow wag back and forth, indicating a comfortable dog. When you see this, the dog will be able to learn new things and comply with your cues. The tail is only one part of body language. We have to look at all the other parts of the dog to fully understand what he or she is saying. This includes the ears and their placement, the mouth and if it's relaxed or tense, eyes that may be looking in one direction while the face is pointing in another, and subtle signals that our dog gives off that they're uncomfortable. This is such an important topic, and we do cover it extensively in our online course, 30 Days to Puppy Perfection. We've got several lessons on canine body language, including one where I break down the body language during a puppy play date to teach you what I'm seeing and when we see signs of stress versus signs of healthy play. If you'd like to learn more about this, the link to learn more about the course and enroll is below. Thankfully for humans, our dogs do verbalize their feelings sometimes. Now I want you to listen carefully to those vocalizations in your dog. Remember, what you respond to will persist. So if you respond to barking, your dog's gonna keep doing it to get your attention. If you respond to a more subtle signal, like a stare or a slight chirp or whine, your dog will continue to do that to get your attention. Respond to the signal that you want her to use to get your attention. Barking can definitely be confusing because there's a lot of different reasons why dogs bark. A lot of times, like in the video you saw with Cooper, it means the dog is overstimulated and over threshold. Now you won't be able to teach him anything new at that time when he's barking, so make a mental note to work on it outside of the time that it's happening. That's what we told Jackie to do with Cooper. Now we recently published a great video right here on this channel all about barking. Comment barking in the comments below and we'll send you the link to check it out. Whining? That's another vocalization that you might hear from your puppy. Common reasons why puppies whine is a desire for attention. They may also be experiencing discomfort, or they may need to go outside for a potty break. If your puppy is whining when in the crate, it probably means she needs a potty break, or she may need some additional training to feel more comfortable in the crate. Now, crate training is not hard, but it does take some dedication and time and patience on the part of the human. We do not want a puppy to cry it out. And if you find another trainer recommending that, they're not up to date on positive training methods. I want you to watch this video to get you and your puppy on the right track with crate training. And those same concepts with crate training, they can also be applied to the pen. This is to help your puppy feel more comfortable when she's in the pen and when you're not able to interact with her. Another vocalization that you might hear is growling. I don't ever want you to correct or reprimand a growl. This is your dog telling you that something is bothering her. If you don't listen to her, she's going to be forced to escalate to some other communication that gets your attention. This is usually a nip or a bite. That can totally be avoided if you take the time to understand what the growl was about. And most of the time I hear about a puppy growling, it's because a human's trying to pick her up when the puppy doesn't want to be moved. Please, don't pick up a puppy to get her to do what you want. You can guide her on a leash or use your body posture to lure her away. As you progress in your training, you can even teach her things like recall or the off cue. Picking your puppy up could make her distrust humans approaching, and it could trigger resource guarding and even rapid consumption of an unsafe item. And it could actually cause her pain if you don't pick her up correctly. I also don't ever want you to disturb any dog during mealtime, or if she has something very valuable like a bully stick, or when she's sleeping. Remember, growling is a signal that the human needs to put on the puppy detective hat and figure out what the dog is communicating. And then you need to find another way to do what you were trying to do. So this is Allison and her dog Lincoln. He uses a slight chirp to get her attention. Allison doesn't mind that signal, and she actually prefers it to something more annoying like the bark. So when he chirps, she responds. Now Lady, she's more physical, and she'll come over and bump into me and do a little hop to get my attention. I prefer that to barking too. So I try to respond when she asks, what kind of vocalizations does your dog do most? Is it barking, whining, growling? Tell me in the comments. All right, here's a few more common puppy behaviors and what they mean. Chewing. Ah, yes. It's so normal for puppies to chew, but it can be really annoying if they get into something that's not for puppies. Just remember that chewing is especially normal during teething, and you should provide your puppy with plenty of safe chew items. Keep them in rotation so they're novel and interesting to your puppy. And you might have to make them more interesting by storing them in the treat or food bag, or soaking them in pet-safe bone broth and freezing them. Chewing is also a way that dogs calm themselves during stressful situations, so offer chewing items like yak chews, nyla bones, or bully sticks for cool downs before naps. And if your dog is chewing something she should not be chewing, you probably need to improve your puppy proofing. All right, biting, it's also a common doggy behavior that drives humans crazy. Biting is also normal and it's related to teething, but it can easily become a habit if you're not careful. Do not listen to the old advice about yelping or holding the dog's mouth closed. Biting needs to be managed with the dog's instinctual needs in mind and never punished. And if you need biting tips, comment biting and we'll give you a link to our best video on the topic. If you've already seen that video and you need more info, then our course will help you with that, with 8 lessons on how to address biting. Jumping is also a common behavior that humans want to address. So if you have a big dog, I suggest you start working on this as soon as your puppy comes home. That's what I did with Lady when I noticed that she's naturally a bouncy dog. We worked hard to reward her for keeping all 4 paws on the floor, and we successfully avoided her using jumping as an attention-seeking behavior. Jumping is also covered in my course. I do have 2 more important topics for you, including how to help your puppy learn and how to develop a strong bond. Remember what I said earlier about whatever you respond to is what your puppy will continue to do? Well, that means responding to lower level attention-seeking behaviors like staring or bumping so that your puppy doesn't have to escalate to a bark, a scratch, or a bite. So rather than scold your dog for doing something you don't want, dogs learn best when you reward them for the behaviors you do want. So one of the things we teach our students is that if you don't like what your dog is doing, think about what you want them to do instead. If you don't like her jumping on guests, what other behavior would you like to have her learn to meet and greet them? If you don't teach her what you want, she'll revert back to the natural behavior that you might not like. Science shows us that dogs learn best from positive reinforcement, not using aversive techniques like fear, pain, or intimidation to teach. We don't use any of those outdated or unkind methods in our training program. It's also really important to be consistent with your training. That includes using the same words and hand signals for your cues, and teaching all family members to use the same techniques. Now, your puppies will learn best if you use hand signals and verbal cues. And finally, puppies can't learn if they aren't getting proper nutrition, proper rest, or if they're not feeling safe and comfortable in their home. So be sure you're meeting those needs and creating a safe and nurturing environment for her. Puppies are a lot of work, but you can set this foundation for learning with the appropriate environment. Your training is going to go a lot better, and you're going to end up with a dream dog like all of our students. Now, when raising a puppy, I also want you to think like a puppy detective. You're going to have to in order to understand what she's communicating. So try to spend some time observing your puppy's behaviors and picking up on her unique cues and signals. All behavior serves a function, and it's not to spite you or make you mad. She's communicating with you all the time. You just have to know what to look for. Understanding and communicating with your puppy is a process that requires patience empathy, and continuous learning. And you probably know that already. That's why you're here, picking up on all this great puppy training info. I'm sure you're also here because you want to build a strong relationship and a strong bond with your puppy too. So this next video will give you even more tips on how to help you with that. When you understand your puppy better and your puppy feels safe and secure with you, learning comes easier. All right, this is Michele Lennon and the How to Train a Dream Dog team, your puppy experts, signing off for now.